I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make vanilla gelato. It has been so crazy requested, I can't even tell you. And I thought, you know what, it's about time I show you guys how to make it. It's summertime after all, and I just really want to show you a basic vanilla one because from this recipe, as summer goes on, I'm going to show you a bunch of different ways to use it. So it's going to be a real winner. But to make it, here's what you're going to need. You need some whole milk, some heavy cream, egg yolks, sugar, salt, vanilla extract. That is it. Those are the secret crazy ingredients to make vanilla gelato. It's super, super simple. Now I will tell you this. Normally, I love to use a vanilla bean when I make ice cream, a vanilla ice cream. I love the look of vanilla beans running through it, but my supermarket doesn't always carry them. It's very difficult for me to find it where I live. Sometimes I usually have to order them online in order to get my hands on them. I live in a little small town, so ingredients like that aren't easy to come by. That's why vanilla extract always does the job, but it has to be pure vanilla extract, none of that imitation stuff. It's gonna ruin your dish. Okay, so we're gonna make this with, instead of using a big mixer, I'm gonna use my 1982 standard handheld mixer that we all know and love. In this big bowl, I'm going to add my egg yolks. It's important for your egg yolks to be at room temperature, by the way, for this. And the sugar. Now using my mixer, I'm going to just cream this together until it's nice and fluffy and pale. And it'll take about 2 minutes. I want this really, really, really foamy. After a couple minutes, that's what it's going to look like. It's beautiful and pale, so thick and lovely. We're just going to set this aside now. I'm going to pop, well, you know what? I'm not going to even bother doing that because last time I did that, I got batter all over myself. So set that aside. Let's get over to the stove so we can start cooking up our milk and cream. Now in a nice non-stick saucepan, and I'm using my new Enolon saucepan here, over medium heat, I'm going to add in my milk and heavy cream. Now you want to make sure you use a non-stick pan for this because what can happen is the milk, if it gets to too much of a high temperature, it doesn't cook evenly, it's going to boil. And if it boils, what happens is when you add the egg yolks, they're going to curdle. And when they curdle, you know what you have. You have a giant mess. So over medium heat, let this heat up just until boiling point. Not boiling, just until boiling point. Then until you start to see little tiny bubbles around the edges of the pan. It'll take about maybe 3 to 4 minutes, that long. And then I'll meet you back here for the next step. The milk mixture is at the perfect temperature. I can see little bubbles around, which is exactly what I want. So now I'm going to take about a ladle full or two of the hot mixture, and I'm going to temper my egg yolk mixture. Because if I add my egg yolk mixture directly into that, it's going to curdle. You don't want that. A couple ladlefuls like that. Stir, 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 just like so. Now at that point, we know they're tempered. We know they're good to go right in. I'm going to lower this to low. And I'm going to add this mixture, and I'm going to add it and stir. Just like so. What we're making is called a creme anglaise. It's really all we're making, which is ice cream. So with the heat on low, we're just going to cook this and stir, and it'll take about 8 to 10 minutes to thicken. It's been about 8 minutes, and this is perfectly thickened. And the way you know that you're in good shape is if you take your wooden spoon that you've been stirring with, run your finger through the back of it. If it stays separated like that, then you know it's thickened just enough. Now let's get to the table to add our final ingredients and get to the next step. Now we're going to add the salt that we had left behind and the vanilla. You're going to want about 2 teaspoons of vanilla. This is vanilla gelato after all. I'm going to stir that to combine it. Oh, it smells so delicious. Love the smell of vanilla wafting through my face. It's like a vanilla facial that I don't have to pay for. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just to ensure we don't have any pieces of eggs in there that have curled or anything like that, and I want a smooth gelato. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this through a fine sieve, just like that. See? It's really important you do that because we want a smooth gelato. If there's any little bits and pieces of yucky things we don't want in there, it'll stay behind. So just go ahead and do that until you pretty much have it all through. Just about there. little bits at the bottom. You know, you shouldn't have any, but if you do, this is why we're straining it. Here we go. Now we're going to just mix this up. I can't wait to just, I wish I could eat this as a soup. Wouldn't that be awesome? Okay, now we're gonna have to cover this with saran wrap or plastic wrap, whatever you call it. But we're not going to cover the bowl. We're going to cover the actual custard. This is going to help prevent a skin from forming, because anytime you make a custard or anything like that, it does form a skin when you cool it. And what this does is that when you cool it and you peel it off, there's no skin. So now the bad part. This has to go in the fridge overnight. It has to be incredibly cold before we put it into our ice cream machine. So, into the fridge overnight, and when I see you next, well, I'm gonna put it in the ice cream machine and eat it. That's about it. Yeah. Now I let my ice cream base stay in the fridge to chill overnight. Now I also put it in the freezer for the past 10 minutes, and this is a really important step. The insert of your ice cream machine, the part that's actually gonna keep your ice cream in it, these two parts have to be in the freezer overnight as well. They have to be incredibly cold in order for this to work. Now read your manufacturer's instructions, because every ice cream machine is different. I know that mine takes about 25 to 30 minutes in order to set my ice cream, but just make sure you read yours to, you know, find out if that's how long it takes. It could take a little bit longer, it could take a little bit less. Now, I'm just going to pour my ice cream base into the little bowl here. And I'm going to cover it with my lid. Look. Turn this on and let that go until it's set. And mine, like I said, it's going to take about 25 to 30 minutes. That looks about right. Okay, I'm just going to take this out. I'm going to take that part out. I'm going to use a spoon to help me out here. It's very, very soft. And of course, as you guys probably already guessed it, I've been testing it every time I check on it. Listen, it's my ice cream, okay? I can't help it. Okay, I'm just gonna put this back here. And now, I'm actually just gonna take a bite now, because I'm gonna put this back in the freezer just to kind of like let it set up a little bit more, but otherwise it's done. I love ice cream. That's good ice cream. Wow, look at that texture. It's like mousse. It's very soft, very creamy. That's about it. Now I put mine in these handy dandy little containers. Put it in the freezer so I'm ready to use it anytime I feel like it. But as for right now, we're done. You gotta go. I gotta pop this back in the freezer, and if you wanna make this, it's so delicious, you guys. Just go into my website at www.laureninthekitchen.com, get the recipe, print it out, and get in your kitchen, make this vanilla gelato, because I guarantee you, once you make it, you'll make it all the time, because it's great to have on hand. Who doesn't want to impress someone with their homemade gelato? Come on now. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.